The Harrison family reunion filled the country club's grand ballroom. 3 generations gathered for our annual 4th of July celebration. 67 family members mingled beneath crystal chandeliers, drinks flowing as freely as conversation. I'd arrived straight from my morning training session, still wearing my athletic gear, compression leggings, a simple tank top, sneakers that had seen better days. "Sarah, darling." My mother intercepted me near the entrance, her tennis whites immaculate, her Tiffany bracelet catching afternoon light. "You couldn't change? It's the family reunion." I kissed her cheek. "Sorry, Mom. I had a session that ran long." "A session?" My father's voice boomed from across the room. Robert Harrison, recently retired from his orthopedic surgery practice, held court among his golf buddies near the bar. "Sarah, come here. Let me introduce you to the guys." I walked over, aware of how out of place I looked among the polo shirts and designer dresses. "Gentlemen, my daughter Sarah." Dad's pride was evident, though tinged with something else. Disappointment, maybe. Stanford graduate. Pre-med. Had a full ride to Johns Hopkins Medical School. His friend, a silver-haired man in expensive golf attire, raised his eyebrows. "Johns Hopkins? That's impressive. Where are you practicing now?" "I'm not," I said simply. "I work in fitness." The man's confusion was evident. "Fitness medicine? Sports rehabilitation? Just fitness. I'm a personal trainer." The silence that followed was heavy. Dad's golf buddies exchanged glances. "A personal trainer," Dad repeated, his jovial tone forced. Sarah turned down Hopkins to become a personal trainer. "Still playing with weights after all these years?" "I don't play with weights, Dad. I work with them." "Right. Work." He turned to his friends, that familiar mix of frustration and bewilderment on his face. 7 years. 7 years since she turned down medical school to work at gyms. Can you believe it? His friend Tom, a retired investment banker, tried to be diplomatic. "Well, fitness is important. People need trainers. People need doctors more," Dad said pointedly. Sarah could have been a physician. Instead, she's teaching spin classes. "I don't teach spin classes." "Whatever you do. The point is, Stanford pre-med, Johns Hopkins acceptance, and she's working at some gym in Brooklyn. Living in a studio apartment. Driving a 10-year-old Civic. This is not what we envisioned." My sister Jennifer appeared with fresh drinks, her Lily Pulitzer dress perfect for the country club setting. She'd followed the expected path. Penn Medical School, now a successful dermatologist married to a cardiologist. "Sarah, Mom wants you to at least put on the cardigan she brought. You're practically in your underwear." "These are workout clothes, Jen. Standard athletic wear. Standard for a gym. Not for the country club." She lowered her voice. "Dad's embarrassed. All his friends' kids are doctors, lawyers, executives. And you show up looking like you just left Planet Fitness." "I don't train at Planet Fitness." "Wherever you train. The point is, could you try? Just a little? For family photos." I accepted the cardigan to avoid further conflict, draping it over my shoulders. Around the room, cousins clustered in their professional groups. The lawyers, the doctors, the finance people. Everyone had followed traditional paths. Everyone except me. "Sarah." My Uncle Charles approached, scotch in hand. He'd built a successful cardiology practice, recently sold to a hospital network. "Still doing the fitness thing?" "Still doing it, Uncle Charles." "When are you going to use that Stanford degree? You know, I could make calls. Get you interviews at medical device companies. They love candidates with your background even without the MD. "I appreciate that, but I'm good where I am." "Are you though?" His concern seemed genuine. "Jenny told us you're living in Bushwick. In a studio. Sarah, you're 29 years old. Don't you want more? A real career? Stability." "I have stability. Working as a personal trainer? What's the salary on that? 40,000? 50? You could be making 10 times that in medical sales. 20 times that as a physician." "Money isn't everything, Uncle Charles. Easy to say when you're young. Harder to believe when you're my age and realize your choices compound." He squeezed my shoulder. "I'm worried about you, kiddo. We all are." The afternoon progressed with more of the same. Cousins asking when I'd get serious about my career. Aunts wondering if I was still playing fitness instructor. My brother-in-law suggesting I apply to physician assistant programs. It's not too late to salvage the medical path. I stretched near the windows overlooking the golf course, trying to stay loose after my morning session. My father found me there with his golf buddies. Still stretching. Dad laughed. Sarah treats every moment like a training opportunity. Watch, she probably does push-ups in her sleep. Tom smiled politely. Dedication to fitness is admirable. It's obsessive, Dad corrected. She turned down Hopkins to work at gyms. Do you know what that acceptance meant? What she threw away? Dad. No, let me finish. I supported you, Sarah. When you said you wanted to explore fitness, I said okay, take a gap year. That was 7 years ago. When does the gap year end? When do you start your actual life? This is my actual life. This. He gestured at my athletic wear. Living in a studio apartment in Brooklyn, working at gyms, showing up to family events looking like you just finished a marathon? This is what you want. Yes. Why? His voice rose with genuine confusion. Help me understand. You have the intelligence, the education, the opportunities. Why waste it on personal training? Before I could answer, his phone rang. He glanced at the screen, frowning. It's Richard. The club manager. Probably about the member guest tournament. He answered, putting it on speaker. Richard. Happy 4th. What can I do for you? Mr. Harrison, I apologize for interrupting your celebration. Richard's voice filled the space between us, professional but strained. But I needed to reach you personally about an important matter regarding your membership. Dad's confusion was evident. My membership? Is there a problem with my dues payment? No, sir. It's about the club ownership. As you may have heard, Oakmont Country Club was recently acquired by a larger hospitality group. The new ownership is implementing some restructuring. Restructuring? Dad's golf buddies leaned in, interested now. What kind of restructuring? Well, that's what I wanted to discuss. The new owner is reviewing all existing memberships, and there are some changes coming to the fee structure, amenities access, and... Who's the new owner? Tom interrupted. I haven't heard anything about an acquisition. The acquisition was finalized 3 weeks ago. Very quiet deal. The new owner is Apex Wellness Group. They're a major player in the fitness and hospitality space. I stopped stretching. Apex Wellness Group? Dad frowned. Never heard of them. They're quite significant, actually. They own and operate 43 fitness facilities, 12 wellness resorts, and now 7 country clubs across the Northeast. The Oakmont acquisition brings their total portfolio valuation to approximately $3.8 billion. Dad's face went pale. Billion? Who runs a company that size? That's actually why I'm calling. The CEO wants to speak with you personally about your membership. She's very hands-on with the country club acquisitions, particularly Oakmont. She's on the line now, actually. May I patch her through? The CEO wants to talk to me? Dad's voice cracked slightly. Why? I'll let her explain. One moment, please. Pause. Then a voice I knew very well came through the speaker. Mr. Harrison? This is Sarah Harrison, CEO of Apex Wellness Group. I wanted to discuss your Oakmont membership personally. The color drained from my father's face. Every golf buddy froze. Tom's Scotch glass stopped halfway to his mouth. Sarah. Dad's voice barely worked. Hi, Sarah. Dad. Your daughter who's been playing with weights for 7 years. The silence in that corner of the ballroom was absolute. Family members nearby had started to notice something was happening, conversations dying as more people tuned in. I don't understand, Dad stammered. I pulled my phone from my bag, ending Richard's call and switching to my regular line. Let me clarify. Richard, thank you for the introduction. I'll take it from here. Of course, Ms. Harrison. Mr. Harrison will be in touch about the membership details. The line clicked off. I turned to face my father and his assembled friends, all of whom looked like they'd seen a ghost. The studio apartment in Bushwick, I said calmly. It's actually a penthouse loft I bought 5 years ago for $2.3 million. I live there because it's 6 blocks from my flagship training facility in Williamsburg. The gym you think I work at is actually the headquarters of Apex Wellness Group. Tom found his voice first. Apex Wellness Group. You own Apex Wellness Group. 72% of it. The remaining 28% is owned by employees through our profit-sharing program. We believe in sharing success. Dad sank into the nearest chair. This can't be real. I opened my phone, pulling up documents I'd hoped I wouldn't need today. Apex Wellness Group corporate structure. Founded 7 years ago with $150,000 I'd saved from undergraduate research grants and a small business loan. We started with one 2,500 square foot facility in Brooklyn. Bootstrapped growth for the first 3 years, then expanded aggressively. Jennifer had materialized beside Dad, staring at my phone screen. 43 fitness facilities. 12 wellness resorts. 7 country clubs. Sarah, this is impossible. It's very possible. We focused on a different model, high-quality facilities with expert training, medical integration, wellness programming. Not the budget gym model, but not country club pricing either. The sweet spot where people will pay for real results. Uncle Charles grabbed my phone, scrolling frantically. Annual revenue of $940 million. Company valuation of $3.8 billion. Sarah, you built a $3.8 billion company. We built it. My team and I. I'm just the person who had the vision and was willing to work 17-hour days to make it happen. My mother appeared, having heard the commotion. Sarah, what's happening? What are they talking about? Mom, remember when I turned down Hopkins to work at gyms? I was actually starting a company. The gym work wasn't employment. It was market research. I worked as a trainer at 12 different facilities, learning what worked and what didn't. Understanding customer pain points, operational inefficiencies, what people actually wanted from fitness. But you said you were a personal trainer, she whispered. I am a personal trainer. Also a business owner. Also the CEO of a $3.8 billion wellness empire. People can be multiple things, Mom. Tom was reading something on his own phone now. Wall Street Journal from 3 months ago. How Apex Wellness disrupted the fitness industry. Sarah Harrison, 29, founder and CEO. It says here you revolutionized fitness by integrating medical care, nutrition, and mental health into standard gym memberships. That's the model, yes. We have physicians, physical therapists, nutritionists, and mental health counselors on staff at every major facility. Fitness isn't just about lifting weights, it's about total wellness. That's what makes us different. Jennifer's hands shook as she scrolled through more articles. Forbes 30 Under 30. Incorporated Magazine's Entrepreneur of the Year. Sarah, you've won all these awards and never mentioned them. The awards aren't the point. The work is the point. Dad finally found his voice, though it came out broken. The country club. Oakmont. You bought my country club. Apex bought it, yes. Along with 6 others. We're diversifying into luxury wellness, combining traditional country club amenities with comprehensive health programming. Golf and tennis are great, but we're adding medical wellness centers, advanced fitness facilities, nutrition counseling. Making country clubs about actual health instead of just social status. How much did you pay for Oakmont? Tom asked faintly. The acquisition was $127 million. We're investing another $23 million in facility upgrades and medical center construction. $150 million, Dad repeated numbly. You spent $150 million on a country club. On transforming a country club into a wellness destination. And it's not just my money, it's company capital. Apex's retained earnings. We've been profitable since year 2. Uncle Charles set down his scotch with a trembling hand. The Civic you drive. The one we all pitted you for. Why? Because it runs perfectly and gets excellent gas mileage. I drive between facilities constantly. Why waste money on luxury cars when a reliable Civic does the job? The $80,000 I didn't spend on a BMW went into equipment for our Newark facility. My cousin Michael, who worked in private equity, pushed through the growing crowd. Sarah, I need to understand the valuation. $3.8 billion is extraordinary for a 7-year-old company in a saturated market. What's driving that? Membership retention. Industry average is about 35% annual retention. We're at 91%. When people join Apex, they stay because we deliver actual results. Medical integration, personalized programming, community building. We're not a gym, we're a health transformation platform. 91% retention, Michael breathed. That's insane. How many members total? Across all facilities, approximately 184,000 active members. Average membership value is $185 per month. Do the math. He did, his eyes widening. That's over $400 million in annual recurring revenue just from memberships. Before personal training, wellness programs, resort fees. $407 million from memberships, actually. Personal training adds another $340 million. Wellness programs, nutrition counseling, physical therapy, another $193 million. The resorts and country clubs are newer revenue streams, but they're scaling fast. Jennifer was crying now, mascara streaming. Sarah, I told you to apply for PA programs. I said you needed to salvage your medical path. And you were running a billion-dollar healthcare company. Wellness company. But yes, medical integration is core to our model. We have 47 physicians on staff across the organization. 73 physical therapists. We're probably one of the largest employers of sports medicine professionals in the Northeast. Dad stood slowly, walking to me like a man in a dream. The studio apartment. Civic. The workout clothes at family events. You were hiding this whole time. I wasn't hiding. I was working. Building. And I didn't need fancy clothes or a luxury apartment to prove success. I needed proximity to my facilities and capital to invest in growth. But why not tell us? Mom's voice broke. Why let us worry? Why let us think you were struggling? Because telling you would have changed everything. The minute family knows you're successful, every conversation becomes about that success. I wanted to build something real first. Something undeniable. Tom cleared his throat. The Hopkins acceptance. You turned down Johns Hopkins to start a gym. I turned down Hopkins because I'd already identified a massive market inefficiency. People wanted to be healthy, but existing fitness models failed them. Either too expensive and exclusive or too cheap and ineffective. I saw an opportunity to build something better. Hopkins would have delayed that by 4 years minimum. So I chose the business over the degree. And built a $3.8 billion company instead, Uncle Charles said quietly. Sarah, that's extraordinary. It's what happens when you focus on solving real problems instead of chasing prestige. Hopkins would have made me Dr. Harrison. Apex made me someone who's actually improving lives at scale. My phone buzzed. A text from Richard, the club manager. Ms. Harrison, Mr. Patterson, head of the membership committee, is asking about the restructuring timeline. Should I direct him to you? I typed back. Meeting with my father currently. I'll address the full membership committee next week. Send them the overview deck. Dad noticed. You're actually restructuring Oakmont? This isn't just. This is real. Very real. Apex doesn't acquire properties as trophy assets. We acquire them to transform them. Oakmont will become the premier wellness country club in Connecticut. Your golf will improve, Dad, because you'll have access to sports medicine physicians who can address your chronic shoulder issue. Your game will benefit from actual physical therapy instead of just powering through pain. He blinked. How do you know about my shoulder? Because I've watched you favor it for 3 years. Because I'm trained to identify movement dysfunction. Because that's what I do. I understand how bodies work and how to make them work better. The crowd around us had grown to 30 people now. Family members abandoning other conversations to witness this revelation. My cousin Rachel, a corporate attorney, pushed forward. Sarah, the legal structure of this company. You said 72% ownership. What's the rest? 28% employee ownership through profit sharing. Every employee who's been with us for 2 years gets equity. Our head trainers, facility managers, medical staff. They own pieces of Apex. When we succeed, they succeed. That's actually revolutionary, Rachel said. Most fitness companies treat trainers as disposable. You're making them owners. Because they are owners. They build this with me. Why shouldn't they benefit? Michael was still calculating on his phone. Employee ownership of 28%. At $3.8 billion valuation, that's over $1 billion in employee equity. Sarah, you gave away $1 billion. I gave away nothing. I shared success with the people who created it. And that $1 billion in employee equity is why we have 91% retention and virtually zero trainer turnover. People don't leave when they own part of something meaningful. Dad sank back into his chair and this time I sat beside him. The crowd gave us space though everyone remained close enough to hear. Dad, I'm sorry I didn't tell you sooner. But I needed to build this without interference. Without well-meaning family members telling me to be realistic. Would I have done that? His voice was barely audible. Yes. You would have said starting a gym was too risky. That I should go to Hopkins, get the MD, build a traditional medical career. And maybe you would have been right from a certain perspective. But I saw a different path. One where I could help more people by building systems instead of treating patients one at a time. He took my hand, tears in his eyes. I called you a gym rat. At every family event for 7 years. I pitied you. I know. And you were building an empire. Changing an entire industry. Helping hundreds of thousands of people. 184,000 members, yes. Plus their families who benefit from their improved health. The real number is probably closer to 500,000 people whose lives are better because of Apex. Jennifer hugged me from behind, sobbing. I'm so sorry. God, Sarah, I'm so sorry. I've been so condescending. So dismissive. You were worried about me. That's what family does. But you didn't need our worry. You needed our trust. And we failed you. Mom joined the hug, then Dad, until I was surrounded by family members who'd spent 7 years misunderstanding me completely. When we finally separated, Uncle Charles asked the question others were clearly thinking. What happens now? With the country club, I mean. You mentioned restructuring. Oakmont becomes an Apex flagship. Medical wellness center opening in 6 months. Enhanced fitness facilities. Nutrition programming. Mental health services. Everything that makes Apex special, integrated into the country club experience. And the membership fees? Tom asked nervously. Actually decreasing for existing members. You're grandfathered in at current rates. We're not about exclusivity through pricing, we're about excellence through programming. I want Oakmont to be the healthiest country club in America, not the most expensive. Dad's friend looked like he might cry. You're lowering fees? For existing members, yes. You'll pay less and get more. That's the Apex model. Deliver massive value and build loyalty. The rest of the afternoon transformed. Family members who'd pitied me now crowded around with questions. Cousins wanted to know about expansion plans. Aunts asked about wellness programming. Even my brother-in-law, humbled, asked if Apex needed consulting physicians. But the moment that mattered came at sunset when Dad and I stood alone on the terrace overlooking the golf course. His golf course, which was now technically my golf course. I owe you an apology, he said quietly. A real one. I've spent 7 years disappointed in you. Embarrassed by you. And you were building something I can barely comprehend. Dad. No. Let me finish. You're extraordinary. You've always been extraordinary. And I was too blind to see that your path was different, not lesser. Can you forgive me? I hugged him. There's nothing to forgive. You loved me enough to worry. That matters more than understanding. The Hopkins acceptance. Do you ever regret it? Never. I help more people this way. A physician helps patients individually. I built systems that help hundreds of thousands. You really turned $150,000 into $3.8 billion? With a lot of help. A brilliant team. Members who believed in the mission. And 17-hour days for 7 years. But yes. He smiled through tears. My daughter. The gym rat who revolutionized wellness. Your daughter who proved that playing with weights can build empires. As evening fell and fireworks prepared to launch over the country club. My country club. I stood with my family, still in my workout clothes, still wearing my 10-year-old sneakers. Tomorrow I'd deal with the Oakmont restructuring. Tonight I was just Sarah. Who turned down Hopkins to build something better. Who lived in Bushwick because proximity mattered more than prestige. Who wore workout clothes to family events because she was always working. And who proved that the gym rat everyone pitied was actually changing an entire industry. Not bad for a Stanford dropout in compression leggings. Not bad at all.